Hello and welcome to the Dirty Dopers podcast. I'm your host, Tech, and today we're diving down a part of history that takes us back to a very, very sad day and one that made Americans extremely angry. Today we're going back to the sinking of the Lusitania and what really happened. But before we go into our story today, I'd like to bring along with us two of my favorite people in the whole wide world and my co-host. We've got my wild cousin and conspiracy theory expert, Trippy.
Hey, y'all.
And also coming along with us aboard this ride, we've got one of our best friends in the entire world and not associated in any way with Sean, Diddy.
What up?
All right, guys. So,
I don't even give a fuck. I don't give a fuck. I was being called Diddy before the whole baby oil thing came out. It's been that way for like 15 years,
I'm
man.
still laughing about the fart, bro. I don't know if the mic got that or not.
no, I don't think it did, so...
This is going in at the end for bloopers.
That's going to take a lot of editing.
We'll just leave it.
Fuck it.
Anyway, this is kind of what you can expect from us.
We're serious sometimes.
No, we're not.
No.
No, we're not.
We're serious about fucking off.
Oh, gosh.
Anyways, tell me about this Lusitania, Tech. What is this? Is this like a ship or something?
All right. So, Diddy, if you can help me out a little bit here. The Lusitania was basically built by Cunard Lines, and it was commissioned by the British Royal Admiralty. And what happened was Germany, which was a new country, if I'm not mistaken, back in 1904, right?
It was newer. It was more territories than anything after the whole Germanic tribes and everything. So Germany came into focus. You know, military arms started getting built up. The whole world is tense, and we're trying to figure out what we're going to do for world shipping. The British Navy commissioned a lot of new ships, started building new ships. So that's pretty much where the Lusitania came from. In an aspect, it was meant to be a cruise ship at some point, but like the Titanic, it was the RMS Lusitania, so it was the Royal Mail ship.
Yeah.
So were these ships, was that connected to the Titanic at all?
Yes, the Titanic would have been built along the same program. White Star Line decided to build them. They built the Olympic, and then they decided to build two sister ships.
Yes.
So wait a second. Titanic, Olympic, and Lusitania are all basically sisters.
And Mauritania.
I've never
kind
heard of
of,
that
but not exactly. The Lusitania and Mauritania are sister ships. What happened
Okay.
was,
And then the Olympic and Titanic are sister ships.
Yeah, the Olympic, there was the Olympic, the Titanic, and the Britannic. They would have been being drafted at this point, like blueprints being printed up and everything. Because everyone thinks that it took decades to build these ships. It didn't. These ships, they would get them built within 2-3 years.
Yeah.
Ready to sail. So the Titanic and the Britannic and the Olympic, all that shit came right at the end of the war. And the war kind of ended out of nowhere anyways. So no one was really ready for it. White Star Line still went ahead with building those three ships.
yeah.
When did the Lusitania sink?
1915?
Oh, so the Titanic. Yeah, you're right. My history was a little bit off. The
I was gonna
Titanic
say, I
would
thought
have
those
been.
came before World War One. Like right before World War One. Because didn't World War One start in like 1920 or something, 1921-ish?
No,
When did that start?
no, 1910s.
Oh, shit.
It was 1912, 1915.
I thought it was 1915 when the war started.
Yep.
Okay, that's when I think that's
So-
when the Lusitania sunk,
okay, so-
actually.
And the Titanic sank in 1912.
Yeah, April of 1912. And then the Lusitania sank like, I want to say like March or something of 1915. Or something like that.
May 7th,
May 7th.
1915.
I was close. It was the
Okay,
M.
so but still, a lot of the ships that were built in Britain at the time, they were all commissioned by, the British
By the-
Admiralty. by the British Navy, by the government.
They were
because
royal ships.
They were royal ships. They were the mail-carrying ships.
Now, what happened to set the stage for you, Trippy, is that in like 1904 or something like that,
Right.
Germany, which was a new King Kaiser Wilhelm the second, I think, was literally the first ruler of Germany.
Okay.
He was the first monarch because before then, as Diddy said, all of Germany was basically scattered tribal kingdoms. So he was the first unified ruler of Germany. Now, he inherited a good navy and everything else from his grandfather.
Okay.
Well, he had a ship commissioned called the Deutschland, I believe, and the Deutschland won the Blue Riband, which was this. It wasn't like an official prize or anything like that or award, but what it was you had the fastest ship in the entire Atlantic.
Right. So the Blue Ribbon was given out to many ships, and basically companies that built these ships, they were trying to beat that record. Both, that's for ocean-going ships. That's for lake-going ships, because we're in the United States, northern part of the United States, where, well, more like Midwest United States. We are by all the Great Lakes. There's all kinds of ships up there that have their own blue ribbons. I mean, I'm in Fitzgerald. I don't know if you know what that is.
No.
That was one of those big, long, bulk carrying ships with their giant hatches on it. So that was actually out here on the Great Lakes. It would go between Lake Superior, Erie, Michigan, Huron, all that. And it was the fastest ship for years, decades. It held the blue ribbon, and then one day it just snapped in half and disappeared.
Okay.
It took them. I think it took them a little while to find. They found the wreck, within a few days off of sonar, but there was no way to get to it.
Right. Well, at least back in 1904, the Blue Riband was an esteemed award for the fastest transatlantic ship. Now, what that also comes with, though, is that comes with trade deals, passenger liner deals, and everything else. Because if you got the fastest ship, that means you can get stuff done quicker than anybody else.
Right.
Now, the Germany took it from Britain. This made the Admiralty very nervous because the Admiralty,
They were pissed.
Oh, they were very pissed because all of them had money and stocks and everything tied to Cunard Lines and I think White Star Lines. Hold on.
Cheers, everybody.
Yeah,
Hang on,
cheers,
guys.
everybody.
We got to cheers our Benjamins.
Good old Benjamin Franklin.
Gotta get in that right state of mind. You know what I'm saying?
All right, Chief Keef.
Let me check my notes real quick.
Chief high as fuck.
Is he even making music anymore?
I don't fucking know.
Okay, so Cunard Lines was a British-owned company. It was its own big founding thing. So a lot of the Admiralty owned stock in Cunard Lines.
Yeah.
So in 1907, the beautiful era, we had rapid industrialization and a lavish elite lifestyle. Steamships were the internet of the age. Britain losing naval and economic monopoly to German lines in 1907, the Blue Riband was awarded with a record crossing. So Cunard Lines was given £2.6 million to loan out at low interest to build not only the Lusitania but the Mauretania as well. So the Admiralty commissioned it. Now, Cunard Lines was a company that still had stocks and shares and everything else. And shareholders. They were also given subsidies for carrying the Royal Mail, and those subsidies practically paid the loan back. So you had a low interest loan, and then because you're doing work for me, here's some money. Oh, that just happens to be the same amount of money that's paying the loan you owe me.
So they basically gave them these ships.
Basically, but hold on. Here's the real kicker. Guess where the Admiralty got the money for it?
From the government?
Where does the government get its money,
From the
Trippy?
bank.
Where does the government get its
Oh,
money?
the people.
The people, taxes.
Yeah, so this is tax dollars that was used for this then.
So what the government did, what the British government did, was they used taxpayer money to give out a loan to Cunard Lines, and then again used taxpayer money to have Cunard Lines pay the loan back.
Dude, government was fucking. You guys think
That
government
seems like
now
they
is
were-
wild?
It seems like they were like spending a lot more money for this ship than what was really necessary.
Dude, that's what I'm telling you. The government back then was fucking wild. You think it's just crazy right now?
It doesn't make
because-
no sense, but that's how you would do shit if you're trying to like
Yeah.
fucking wash money and fucking launder money and
Why
shit.
do you think
Here-
Lusitania is such a big deal?
Especially since back then it was everything was paper currency. You can't track shit.
Well, here's another thing. The Lusitania was actually technically built to military specs with a reinforced hull and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Because it was designed with the intent that if war ever broke out, it would become a military ship. That was part of the agreement as well, was it was supposed to be a standby military vessel to be able to be converted into a war cruiser to carry troops or munitions in case of war.
And I want you to think about this too. The funny thing about Lusitania, taxpayer money, taxpayer for all the shit for it, ammunition, everything.
Yeah.
It was also insured. So when it went down,
Well, there is a thing about that, and we'll get to that a little bit later. There is some stuff with the insurance going on with that.
We
But-
did go over that in our live stream about Titanic on our kick.
Yes, but Lusitania is a little bit different because of the way things went down. Like I said, we'll just cover that in a little bit. Just trust me.
The
with that.
Lusitania basically had a salvage title on it.
No, that's
No.
a different ship. That's the Olympic.
the Olympic.
Oh yeah, you're right. Okay, with the U-boat and shit. My bad. I got mixed up.
Now, the Lusitania was designed by Leonard Pescott and J.H. Isherwood. It had an innovative design with 4 steam turbine engines, and the design input was from Charles Parsons, who invented the steam turbine. It was contracted by John Brow and Company in Clydebank, Scotland. Now, the first Lord of the Admiralty back then was William Palmer II, Earl of Selborne. Now,
Earl of Selborne.
it's like
does
a
that mean?
district.
What's an earl?
Like a
Basically
governor?
Like a governor, yeah.
Okay.
You had the dukes, which were like
Yeah, I
the
know.
rulers.
I've heard of like dukes and stuff. I've never heard of an earl.
You have you had the dukes who were the rulers, and then
Right.
the earls were like the governors. They watched over the little territories inside of.
What were the governors?
I swear to God, dude.
Look,
And
yeah,
then
we're
they
American.
ran a-
Everybody
ran a-
else was peasants. Nothing has changed.
Yeah, we're American, dude. We don't. I'm not an expert in lords and ladies.
I just wanted to know the basics of it. I heard of duke and stuff. I just never heard of earl.
Well,
I've heard of Earl T, and my name is
there
Earl.
there is a social hierarchical status, and when we talk about Archduke Franz Ferdinand in next episode,
There's Duke, Archduke.
yes. So we'll get
I
to
know-
some
yeah.
of that stuff in
I
one
just-
of our other episodes.
I've just never heard of Earl.
Yeah, basically over here in America, we're used to lower class, middle class, upper class, higher upper class.
And then you got your
And then you got
shadow
your fucking
elite, and then
elites.
you
Hold
got your
on, hold on,
puppet
Trippy.
master.
Yeah, you got all
as
that shit up
redneck
there.
as you are, you've never watched My Name Is Earl?
Did you not hear my reference earlier when I said I heard of Earl T and my name is Earl, but I never heard of an Earl?
No, I've got
As in,
selective
like,
hearing.
He's not paying attention.
No, he's not.
Pay attention to me, son.
Shut the hell up.
I'll tell you what.
Because it's shirt.
Oh, I'll tell you what.
No, it says shut the hell up.
Welcome to Walmart. Get your shit and get out.
Yeah, there you go. Now we're in the same boat.
Anyway, so now here's the thing. No way that the leader or the first Lord of the Admiralty did not rub elbows with the CEO or head chairman of Cunard Lines. That Edwardian England was very, very like close knit. They had their own little elite circles, their clubs and everything else. I mean, we're talking, there's very much possible this was some, like, just like us, a few guys sitting around with something to smoke on and alcohol and just making a deal and just bullshitting, figuring things out. That's how this was done.
Yeah, that's how most things were done back then. Just so everyone's kind of aware why we did crazy things underneath the table that seem like corruption to us today.
It was blatant corruption.
It was blatant back then, but no one did anything about it.
Well, no, because they did it in secret clubs and everything else, places the common man couldn't, enter, basically.
Yeah, pretty much.
Back then, a lot of the colonies, when they were expanding this shit, a lot of the shit back then was like to help out their own fucking people, like their country and shit, expand their territory and shit like that to make their country better. We kind of have set borders and shit now, so now it's like, all right, well, we're not going to expand and fucking invade Canada and shit. No, let's fill our fucking own pockets, dude. Fuck these guys.
Exactly.
So now everything's like corrupt, and a shitty fucking corrupt. And it's not like, hey, dude, how am I going to help bring more money to my fucking country?
Oh, no.
Country?
We still totally invade countries. We just no longer turn them into our countries. But, I mean,
They're
when we need oil.
There are territories.
Yeah.
Like Puerto Rico and Guam.
Oh,
We
man.
just never gave Guam back.
Listen, we could do a complete episode in the future on American territories. America is an empire. We just try to hide it.
Are.
Yeah, if you think it's just the 50 great states,
No.
There's a
I
lot
know
more.
it's not.
There's a few islands out there.
I'm saying, like, modern day today, yeah, we'll have war in Iraq. We'll be helping fucking Israel or Ukraine. But when's the last time we actually invaded a country other than Iran and Iraq and Vietnam?
When's the last time anyone's invaded a country?
But we didn't,
except for Russia, because Russia is assholes.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Like, back then we were fucking wars everywhere trying to expand territories all over the fucking world.
It still happens.
Now, it still happens, but you're not seeing it like back in the day how it used to be.
Well, back in the day, you got to think, all these guys, they were really big about, let me make a name for myself. Let me make a name for myself.
Well, I mean,
and that's
how
pretty
it is
much
today.
where the big pissing contest, it started in 1907. Everyone was building up arms. Oh, look at me, look at me, look at me. My dick's bigger than yours, blah, 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 blah. So,
Well, to tease a little bit of our next episode, because you said something about a pissing match. You ever wonder why the world leaders in World War I look like they all sit at the same Thanksgiving table?
Stay tuned for more.
So, we've got the Subvention Agreement of 1903. Now, this is where it gets really fun.
The what?
Subvention Agreement of 1903. Okay? And what it was essentially a deal between Cunard Lines and the British government that made the Lusitania and Mauretania possible. And it's a key detail for explaining why the Lusitania was both a passenger ship and a military asset. It was signed in July of 1903 between Cunard Lines and the British Admiralty, and its purpose was to fund the building of 2 high-speed transatlantic liners that could also serve as armed cruisers during wartime. Subvention means the government financial support, in this case a mix of loans and annual subsidies. They were given a loan of $2.6 million at 2 3/4% interest for construction, but they also received an annual subsidy of 75,000 euros per year for operating costs, provided the ships maintained certain speed and service requirements. Now, the ships also had to be built with Admiralty-approved designs, reinforced hulls, gun mounting points, and large coal bunkers. Now, there was also the Naval Reserve Clause, which Cunard had to make sure the ships were available to the Royal Navy as armed merchant cruisers if war broke out. And then they had the nationality requirement. The company had to remain British-owned and operated, which means there were no foreign takeovers allowed. Sorry, J.P. Morgan.
It's a good thing I'm helping you with this.
Yeah.
I've been doing a lot today.
Yeah, it's our first recording, y'all, so we will get better.
We're learning.
We're learning.
All right, so
We still got ADHD, but we'll figure it out as we go.
so back then, ships were all commissioned by the government.
Yeah.
Yeah, they had owners and shit, but they
had
were
to meet
established
certain standards.
Whoa. Not every ship, but these two specific ships definitely were. The British government had its
Right.
Royal Navy and everything else. But it also, because Cunard Lines had lost the blue riband, so they needed to win that back because it guaranteed deals with America.
Okay, so this is. I don't know much about World War One, guys. I've learned a little bit. I know my way around it. It's just not my favorite thing. You get to meet in World War II, you get a whole different me.
And
So-
that's going to be our second arc after we finish this up.
Right. So basically, back then, government ships had to meet certain standards per the government for military application. That's why the Lusitania and the Mauritania. I almost said Mauritania. Like maneuver.
You're a murder.
Murdered. But so they met these military standards. So that way, if a war did break out, like Tech said at the beginning,
They gotta be convertible.
they gotta be able to
You
survive.
gotta be able to convert them into a military.
They have to be able to survive a war.
Yeah.
So back then, and before a lot of people start questioning, yes, the Lusitania, we're going to get into the details of why it happened, but basically when the Lusitania went down, it was not made to withstand what hit it, because what hit it really hadn't been established until this war.
Okay. So this was it got sunk by like a newer weapon.
At the time, a newer weapon at the time.
Yeah.
Meh. Submarines were relatively newer, yes. Now, there are some fun things with the Lusitania, like there are certain details that have been found out about the wreck post sinking when people have gone down and dived and looked at it that don't exactly match up with public records. But we'll get into that a little bit later. Right now, I want to enter one of our other key players. We've mentioned the Cunard Lines. We've mentioned the British Admiralty and how the top dogs of the British Admiralty had shares in Cunard Lines. Now, Room 40. Room 40 had started its roots right before the war by gathering key personnel. It quickly got its hands on German codes. They were also given German codes by Russians as a sign of good faith. Now, Room 40...
Is there a way to turn it up?
Turn what up?
The voice capture? I don't know if it's because I'm talking too low.
I think it's because you're talking just a little bit too low. You do have to kind of project, because if we go with too much gain, it'll start to give a weird feedback.
All right. Oh, I see now that I'm kind of speaking from the... say it from your chest, boy.
Yeah, you got talk from your chest.
Kevin Hart has a... because...
Kevin Hart talks from his chest. Are you sure it's not his feet?
No, no. He has a famous comedy skit where he's talking about his uncle from prison who tells him to say it with his chest.
Yeah, and Kevin Hart goes up 2 octaves.
Say it with your chest!
All right.
Anyway. So, basically, Room 40 was... it was this intelligence, a naval intelligence branch, that was brought on. Let me check my notes.
Sorry, excuse me.
Give me 1 second here to find it.
Sorry, I'm going to go up there next because he's going up there twice already.
It was founded in October of 1914, officially. But it was founded by Sir Alfred Ewing, the director of naval education, and he was recruited to set up the unit. Also, Admiral Sir Henry Oliver, director of naval intelligence, oversaw it, and it was personally supported by Winston Churchill, who was the first Lord of the Admiralty at the time that the war broke out.
Really?
Oh, yeah. Oh, our good friend Winston Churchill. There's some fun things about him. Actually, I think let me find the direct quote. Because he said something very interesting.
You know what sounds really cool right now? One of them hamburgers from earlier.
At least you guys got to eat yours hot.
Mine was hot-ish.
Mine was fucking cold. I had to throw that shit in the microwave.
Well, you should have taken a break.
Taking a break, man. We were almost done.
Yeah. And then,
Which I thought was going to be take me 15 minutes. Took me half. It wasn't even fucking half an hour. It was like 45 minutes. I was sweating dogs.
yeah, it was pretty hot out.
I'll tell you what. If I ever meet whoever wired up your truck before, I'm going to fucking put my foot up their ass.
Yeah.
In a letter/memo to Walter Runciman, the president of the Board of Trade, dated January 1915, Churchill wrote, and I quote, "It is most important to attract neutral shipping to our shores in the hope, especially of embroiling the United States with Germany. For our part, we want the traffic. The more the better, and if some of it gets into trouble, so much the better." That is Winston Churchill literally saying, yeah, I know we've got U-boats patrolling our coast, and if something was to happen to bring America into it, that would just be better.
Right, because what a lot of people don't understand is, yeah, America had a big part in both wars. They've had a big part in the entire world as a whole.
You
for a
don't
long time.
say America.
America.
Fuck yeah!
But we weren't always like that. It was for a very long time. We stayed by ourselves. We were like Japan in that way.
We wanted to be neutral.
Yeah, we wanted to be neutral in the whole thing. We didn't want to trade with anybody. We wanted very much to stay by ourselves.
Yeah.
So that was not very good for Britain when the war broke out because they were pretty much on their own. It was France and Britain and a few other little countries, but it was very much a stalemate the entire war, and they really needed American help or else the lines would have fell.
Right. Now, but back to room 40 real quick. All right.
Then that's when America became the big brother.
Like I said, we're going to lead down all the trail. Basically, this entire podcast is trying to show you guys how we got to where we are today. So I want to go back to a little bit more about room 40. Okay. Now, Naval Intelligence had asked Sir Alfred Ewing to decode German ciphers. Now, they founded room 40 without higher approval at first. And Ewing was given room 40 in the old Admiralty building as his headquarters for leading the teams. Now, that is why it got its name, room 40, is because that was the building, the room's number in the building that was their headquarters.
If anyone hasn't put in room 40 together by now, room 40 was very much the intelligence of the British armed forces. They were able to decipher and decode messages, intercept, spy, everything. They were basically your James Bond.
That's what they were called. They just called them room 40.
Yeah, it's basically
if you're room 40, you're a decoder and shit.
Yeah, it's basically like those movies where you walk into a room, there's a bunch of tape recordings going. That's what room 40 was.
Okay.
Now, what's really kind of cool is, Trippy, you found out that Crowley had traveled on the Lusitania?
Yeah, I looked into him a little bit, and actually he was spreading propaganda kind of for both sides, working for basically MI6 and shit at the time.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
And when he came to America, he came here on the Lusitania.
That's a little bit weird.
Yeah.
Now, was that trip to America, was that the trip where it went back and it got hit?
I didn't go that far into it. I just looked into him for the most part with that. And I just so happened
know
to come
what?
across, hey, the ship that he came here on was the Lusitania. I'm like, that's fucking wild because our episode's about the Lusitania.
Yeah.
And I didn't think, hey, kind of going into World War One-ish here, like, let's see if he had a part of it, because I know he was, like, a spy and shit.
Well,
But he also was, like, really into, like, dark magic, had a cult, and all that weird shit.
Like, and it's,
Okay, he traveled aboard the Lusitania in October of 1914, setting sail for the United States after recovering from a bout of phlebitis? What the hell is phlebitis?
one of those ancient fucking diseases that we killed.
I don't know, somebody will bite the head off of a snake or something, and a fucking outbreak across the world.
Dude, I was going to say a fucking coon, but you know fucking down there in Alabama. I know down there in Kentucky. I went down there once, and my family was like, oh, look, we found a coon on the side of the road. We're making some stew. I eat that stew.
Okay, apparently it's an inflammation of a vein, usually in the legs, but it can occur elsewhere. And it's often triggered
kinda
by
like
an injury to the vein wall, infection, or a blood clot forming inside.
Didn't something come out recently about Trump having fucking issues with his veins in his legs or some shit?
That's something else. His is a more well-known disease, and a lot of old people in America, especially overweight, they end up getting it.
He does like his McDonald's.
Yeah, he's trying to be like somebody else.
So, but anyway. So Crowley came in October. It was sank in May. So probably not, but he definitely had a room on board the ship at some point. Now, what's interesting is the German embassy, before the ship set sail, they were giving warnings to America. Like, they straight up were like, hey, do not board this ship. You could die.
Yeah.
Like, it's dangerous, because what happened was the Allies won World War I.
Okay.
We like to paint history as one side. But here's the problem. The British were definitely playing really dirty. Like, they were not being gentlemanly about the warfare. Like, let me look up some examples. But what happened was Germany,
I didn't bring enough snacks.
Yeah. I was going to say, we'll edit, like, this stuff right here where we're looking some information up and stuff. We'll cut this stuff
Well,
out.
it's kind of nice, if people see that, hey, we get stuff from time to time. We don't know everything. Before people start jumping on us and saying that, we are trying to talk about things that we don't really know about, we know very well that we don't know everything. I'm constantly still looking things up. I've got my phone sitting right here. I'm looking shit up just like Tech is.
Yeah, we're bringing this story to you, and if we find something in there, it's like, hang on, this kind of sounds interesting, or something that we might not have picked up while we were doing our research, we might dive into it real quick to try to see something that we can find.
So here's a few different things that Britain did that broke quite a few established maritime rules in World War I, especially early on. And those violations led Germany to justify unrestricted submarine warfare in the first place, okay? British was... they were misusing neutral flags. So British merchant and even some armed merchant ships sailed under neutral flags, especially the U.S., to avoid U-boat detection. Especially. This violated international law because it blurred the line between belligerent and neutral ships, putting genuine neutral vessels at risk. They were also arming merchant ships. So merchant vessels were fitted with hidden guns or armed outright. So under pre-war rules of engagement, merchant ships were considered non-combatants and were also supposed to be stopped, searched, and their crews evacuated before sinking. Once armed, though, that means they were fair game as warships. Also, contraband and passenger ships. Britain often loaded munitions and military cargo onto passenger liners. By law, carrying war material on a civilian passenger ship violated its protection under the cruiser rules, but Britain denied doing it, even when cargo manifests proved otherwise decades later. Also, they were mining international waters. Britain laid naval minefields in areas normally open to neutral traffic, including parts of the North Sea. Also, there was the hunger blockade of Germany. Britain implemented a blockade on all goods, including food, going to Germany. And Britain was one of the biggest and most powerful players in global shipping. Also, they were falsifying ship identities and signals. So some British vessels transmitted false wireless signals to mimic neutral or even enemy ships to confuse U-boat patrols. So yeah, Britain was not exactly playing by the rules when it was going with Germany. And this led Germany to going, hey, the only way we can defend ourselves is to do this unrestricted warfare because you're breaking all the rules anyway.
Right. And so what you need to understand is back then, everyone had to justify everything that they did. It's still the same way it is today. If something happens, you got to justify it, which here lately hasn't been happening, but that's the way it's supposed to be. You're supposed to make your intentions known. You're supposed to still follow a rule book. Yes, people are dying. People are being shot, blown up. Civilians are getting involved at this point. That's usually not how a war is supposed to go. But that's what happened back then. And civilians were constantly caught in the crossfire. They were used as shields.
Oh, they very much were used as shields. I mean, and here's the thing. The British intelligence, Room 40. Let me go back a page here in my notes. Nope, I was on it anyway. The Room 40 and its code breakers, because they had two sets of German codes, one given to them by the Russians after they found a wrecked sub or a ship or something, and the British got their own hands on one. Well, Room 40 knew exactly where U-20 was. They were monitoring U-20 specifically. Now, here's another thing, though. They knew that the Lusitania was sailing directly into U-20's patrol path. Before it left the harbor, they knew exactly the route the ship was going to take, knew that it was exactly the patrol area of U-20, including monitoring U-20's communications. And
so wait, are you saying they purposely got the Lusitania sunk?
I'm not saying they purposefully did it, but, you know, in Churchill's own words, it would be beneficial if something were to happen to upset the Americans. That's the First Lord of the Admiralty. And later, the Prime Minister.
Like, they literally said that.
I will pull up that quote, and I will read it to you again. It is most important to attract neutral shipping to our shores in the hope, especially of embroiling the United States with Germany. That means getting them entangled with Germany.
Right.
For our part, we want the traffic. The more, the better. And if some of it gets into trouble, so much the better. That is a letter to Walter Runciman, the president of the Board of Trade, in January 1915, just a few months before the Lusitania was sunk. And
wow, that's crazy.
Yeah, they didn't care back then.
No, I'm saying, like, it's, yeah.
Mind-blowing, all right, right.
That's fucked up.
Hold on, it gets even more messed up.
That's the most known part. So they wanted America involved so bad that they were willing to do anything. They knew all of this was coming. Like he was saying, they knew the patrol path. They knew that the Lusitania was going to be there when the sub was there. They knew all of this. All that was given out was, hey, you might not want to board this ship. There's
That was Germany saying that, though. Not the British government. It was Germany going in their own embassy and newspapers, including having an article in the New York Times. And they were saying, do not, please, we are begging you, do not get on this ship.
Because they knew. Germans had figured out by this point that that the Britons were using those big luxury cruise ships with many, many passengers on board because they think they weren't going to attack.
So Germany's like, hey, dude, like, if you don't want to be a casualty of war, don't get on these fucking boats.
Yeah, Germany was letting people know.
Basically,
Like, yeah,
Germany World War I wasn't actually that bad. And
well,
it wasn't,
that was pre
okay.
Muffin Man looking
So
guy.
what Germany used as the reason for this was they claimed that the Lusitania was carrying munitions of war to supply the British and Allies, which the British government denied. Now, here's what's really fun. And you guys are going to hear this name come up in this podcast a lot. J.P. Morgan, because he can be tied into this story, his firms bought and supplied munitions to the Allies. And he shipped the munitions over. So, I just want to point that one out there because he can be tied into this story a little bit.
Right. So, yeah, J.P. Morgan had his hands in a lot of fucking things.
This dude was a fucking war dog.
He was,
oh, God, yes.
Yeah, war hard. He's the first. He was one of the very first elites.
He wasn't a war dog. He was a fucking war pig.
He was among the first elites of America.
Isn't that what a war pig is?
Some of them are.
Like
some of them are war pigs
like
or tech giants.
Fucking war and MIC and all that shit.
Well, back then, a lot of it was you had to know someone to know somebody to know somebody. To be somebody back then. And a lot of people didn't like being like that. So you had these warmongers just trying to find every day how to start another war so that way I can make more money. It still happens to this day.
Now, there are kind of three really big key players. You had the Rothschilds, you had the Rockefellers, and then you had the Morgans.
Mm-hmm. Oh, another thing for you to keep in mind, Trippy?
Yeah, right here. Sorry to interrupt you. It's the way Black Sabbath said it in the War Pigs song. War pigs, which uses the term as a metaphor for corrupt political and military leaders who send others to die in wars while profiting for them. In the context, war pig means greedy, warmongering elites. J.P. Morgan was a fucking war pig.
Right.
Oh, absolutely.
Right. And, J.P. Morgan wasn't just making profits off of war pigs. He was making profits off of deaths in general.
Yeah.
He was one of the big financiers of the Titanic.
Yeah.
He was supposed to be on the Titanic on its maiden voyage that it sank.
And then it sank, and he wasn't there, but a bunch of these bankers that were against the Federal Reserve were there, and they died.
Yep. J.P.
then the
Morgan
Federal
is
Reserve
he's more than just war supplies and munitions and everything. He's got his finger in a little bit of everything.
Oh, he's got his fingers not only in war, he's got his fingers in education, and he's got his fingers in media.
You know who else he's got his fingers in, Tech?
My mom!
Oh, we went the wrong way! Turn around!
Oh.
I think we just exposed some childhood trauma.
So, which uncle touched you again?
I only got one.
My name is Chris Hansen.
Wait a minute, what if I liked it?
What the fuck?
No, we're editing that part out. That's fucking bad. We can't post that shit.
Good thing you
Oh
only
my
have one
God.
uncle, because it'd be hard to choose a favorite.
Oh my god.
So, anyway. All right.
So J.P. Morgan was indeed a fucking corrupt war pig, nasty motherfucker.
He was one of those
He was
ones,
all about money.
He's one of the ones that everyone's trying to martyr today. If you're listening to this, Modern Time News, what's going on in modern time. J.P. Morgan was one of those elites that we want to see pay taxes. We want to see them, hold up their end. But
he was like Bill Gates.
Yes,
he had his
but
fucking
worse.
hand in everything that he shouldn't
But
be
worse.
fucking around with.
All right, let's see. So yeah, back then it was back on May 1st, 1915, when the Lusitania was getting ready to go out.
Hey, I saw that.
Don't. I heard that. What's that taste?
What the fuck?
So the Lusitania, May 1st, when it was getting ready to go out, it was posted. It had been in the mail. It had been posted around that,
Just like they did with the Titanic. It was a big thing.
No, May 1st is when it departed. And the German embassy was putting postings up that, hey, don't board this ship.
Right.
Don't board this ship. Like, there's danger. There's serious fucking danger. You will probably die.
I was thinking of a maiden voyage for some reason, for whatever reason.
No.
But yeah, go on.
So people knew that the Lusitania was going to go down. There was information ahead of time that it was going to go down. No one stopped it. You could have delayed it a day. You could have delayed it, half a day even. Because the Lusitania crossed paths with that U-boat at almost the right exact time. So if they would have delayed it even just half a day, instead of we're leaving early in the morning, we're going to leave in the evening, or
Yeah,
vice
but
versa.
why would the Germans be like, hey, we know this is going to happen, and we know this is going to bring America into the war?
But the thing is they couldn't let the munitions across. And technically, Germans followed all the policies. They warned people. They warned people ahead of time, hey, this is going to happen. It's not a matter if.
Look,
or
I'm
what.
sorry, but if I knew that was going to be a fucking trap, and they're like, hey, this is going to cause America to get involved in all this and that, well, we can't let the ammunition get across. I'm sorry, you let that one fucking ship across, I don't give a fuck. Because if that breaks out a whole fucking world war right there, getting all these big countries like that involved. That was dumb on their part.
So think about it in this way, okay? The reason the Germans wanted to stop these ships so bad.
Well, I get why they wanted to stop it, but at that point, it's like now you're talking about bringing a huge country into this war.
Well, at the time, America had nothing. They didn't want anything to do with it.
I know.
None of the world thought America was going to get involved.
No, and here's the thing.
So
it was people like J.P. Morgan, not the American government itself.
So
but it was
Germany
people-
probably didn't really think America was going to get involved because they've been sinking those ships the whole time. It's like, what's another fucking ship? You know what I mean?
Right.
Okay.
Now,
Yeah, I can see that.
Now-
If they've been sinking like ships like that this whole time and shit or something, or attacking ships the whole time like that.
Now, what's really interesting was just a few days before the Lusitania was sunk, her escort was pulled. Like, she had an escort of defense ships, but that got pulled just days before she was sunk.
So the reason that they did that, I know what you're talking about. They would escort the ships. America would escort you out of our own waters because we knew that there were German U-boats on our coast. It was the modern day today of nuclear subs. Hey, fuck around and find out we're right here.
Right.
There's actually German subs off the coast of like North Carolina and stuff. You can actually dive on them.
Really?
It's pretty fucking wicked. So
Like German subs?
German subs off the coast of, East Coast America. There's
And you
U-boats.
can find some off the coast of Argentina.
Yeah. Where they weren't supposed to be.
You know what's? That's a whole nother topic, but
Yeah. We'll stay on topic here.
So
well, recently I seen an article. There was a whole bunch more fucking 1940s ish German memorabilia from the German from the Nazis. Okay, there was just a bunch of Nazi shit found in Argentina and shit.
that's what we're laying off right now.
Okay.
So hold on to continue on to what you were saying. To continue off of what I was saying. I know that the ships were only escorted so far because America would get you out of our waters.
Yeah.
We're not in the war, but we also don't want to see you get sank. There should be no other enemy. There should be no enemies in our waters. But as soon as you get past our territorial waters, we don't give a fuck. Go have fun.
Go have fun.
Yeah, basically sink or swim, bitch. Literally, to a literal sense. So, but the fucked up part was the Lusitania, on its crossing, was given orders to not zigzag. They wanted to make as much steam as possible because at the time, it was not believed that the Lusitania could be touched. And Churchill didn't care. He wanted a big incident that would involve America. There were Americans on that ship. The ship had come from America. It was going to make some waves back in the continental United States.
Right.
So at the time, the entire world was very firmly believing that America's not going to join this war no matter what. We've done this before, not a big deal. But those ships weren't as full as Americans and weren't as high profile as the Lusitania. Think of the Lusitania as like Air Force One now today. Everyone knows what Air Force One is.
Yeah.
Everyone knew what the Lusitania was back then. That was the big popular ship. You know, blue line, blue ribbon and everything. That ship was what everyone talked about.
Now, the Lusitania left Pier 54 in New York City, bound for Liverpool, on May 1st, 1950. Now, like we said earlier, the German embassy had posted several warnings.
What year did you say?
1915, May 1st.
You said 1950.
It might have been the way
here.
I came off.
It's not Nam. No, that's not Nam. What is that? Korea?
Korea, yeah.
Nam was later.
Yeah.
Now almost in the 60s.
Still same thing. Pointless fucking war.
Jungle warfare against... Anyway, never mind.
You don't want me. Don't get
We're
me
not
on that
gonna-
topic.
That's after World War II.
Anyway, so she left May 1st, 1915. She had 1,959 souls on board. She was loaded with luggage, mail, and unbeknownst to the passengers, 4,200 cases of rifle ammo, 1,250 artillery shell casings, and other war supplies labeled as general cargo. She launched on a beautiful spring day, with anxiety filling the air. Smaller ships than her had been sunk, and everyone from dock worker to Captain William Turner knew about it.
Dude, I was reading your notes while you were in there pooping. I didn't. That's not what I read.
I was taking a wee.
I bet it was a dookie.
You got into the bathroom, turned around to come back and get your vape, to go back in to go pee.
It was going to be a long wee.
Oh, my God. All right, so, yeah, the Lusitania left, and, you know, they did not want people to know that there was ammunition and weapons on that ship, so they made it very secret. But the Germans knew. The world fucking knew what was going on.
Oh, yeah. Now, the voyage lasted for 6 days. Captain Turner kept getting different messages. Some were telling him to avoid certain areas, while some were steering him into a direct path of U-20. Some orders included orders to head straight to Queenstown, now Cobb. Turner slowed down right before the Lusitania was sunk because coming into Liverpool, the area was surrounded by really dense fog and everything else. So the ship reduced speed and stopped its zigzagging pattern and started a straight line path.
Right, that's what I was saying. It was ordered to stop zigzagging, which was a big deal back then. That's how you avoided getting sunk.
Right. Now, the last chance, the last course change order the Lusitania had put it into the very waters U-20 was known to patrol. The morning of May 7th, 1915, she was on a near straight course, no longer zigzagging, as she approached the old head of Kinsale. So she was headed into Kinsale when she was sank. So when she was sunk, there were 1,198 deaths. Now, out of those 1,198 deaths, 128 of them were Americans. That left 761 survivors to talk about what happened.
Right, and you know what the survivors reported about the sinking was it was a U-boat, it was torpedoes, which is what I was saying at the beginning. You know, a newer age weapon. These ships were built, you know, to withstand being shot at by artillery off of a fucking battleship, off of a cruiser, off of a destroyer.
Right.
It was not designed to take a torpedo,
Right.
which was fairly new at the time. So when it got hit, not only did it go deep into the bowels of the ship, where the general cargo of ammunition would have exploded.
Well, and that's the thing, too, was many survivors reported a secondary explosion after the torpedo hit.
Right, which is where I was starting to go on to this. A lot of the passenger testimonies was that as the ship had gotten hit by a torpedo, you obviously know when it's been hit. A lot of these passengers reported, you know, hey, you know, we heard this explosion and then we heard another one after it happened, which is why it went down the way it did, how fast it went down, which is what accounted to all of the death.
Oh, yeah. She went down abnormally fast for being hit with only one torpedo.
Yeah, and that's all it was, because the Lusitania was at full speed. Now, full speed back then, it was like, what, 17 knots?
I think she was hitting like
Hey,
20,
Siri.
21 knots.
How fast was the Lusitania? 31 miles per hour. I think that's like 17 knots, 18 knots.
Ask Siri.
I'm not. He's already got his Google up. The Lusitania was the fastest ship back in the day. 31 miles an hour on a ship of that size. You know, you think you're going down the road, you're going 30 miles an hour.
It was a steamship, wasn't it?
Yeah,
Yes.
steam turbines.
25 to 26 knots.
Oh,
Dude,
I
that
was
blows
way
the
off.
Titanic out of the water.
Yeah. The Titanic was the fastest ship at the time. The Lusitania was faster.
What was Titanic at?
21.
21 knots. Everyone assumed that the Lusitania was unsinkable again. One, it had all the watertight compartments like the Titanic did. The Titanic wasn't the only one that did that. The Olympic did it. The Britannic did it. The Lusitania did it. Lusitania's sister did it.
Damn. They're all RMS ships.
Well, that's not. I'm saying all ships do that. Even ships today do it. Most of your big cruise liners from like Carnival or Disney or anything, they all do it.
Wait, do what?
They have the watertight compartments.
Oh, I thought
They've
you were
just
talking
been-
about getting sunk and shit.
No,
Yeah. They got
that's why you don't hear about these big new cruise ships sinking ever.
Well, you weren't part of it, but me and Trippy actually did a deep dive on the Titanic.
Yeah, I sat and watched you guys kick a little bit. That was that day I had to work a lot.
But
It's damn it! I lost my train of thought.
That's because you're a bitch. Eric.
You're a bitch. How's your truck feel? Is it bumping? I'm gonna put a sign out there. You know, Diddy's Garage. Without
do
the
it?
oil.
Yes, you did.
Did you know how many people have been fucking with me online? Did he do it? And I was like, I don't know. Did you see it?
Oh. That's fucking.
To make another play on my name.
Yeah,
For anyone
the
that
other
doesn't know, a little, take a second. Me, Tech, and Trippy, we're not only just doing this, but we also stream a lot. Trippy, his thing, Trippy Gamer. Mine is Did You See That? So we always kind of make word plays, and then you got Tech. I don't know how to fucking pronounce the last part of your thing.
Takashi Kovacs.
Yeah, there it is. I was gonna say something like fucking Russia or Voskabov. So we do that too. In case anyone wants to come, just leave it in the comments or send us an email message, whatever, to our group, and hey, maybe we'll play a game with you.
Check out our socials too.
Now, basically to wrap up this episode, though, the British government denied carrying munitions and everything else, but what history has revealed is that it definitely was carrying munitions.
Yeah, there's actually been dives to this ship. It was carrying ammo.
Really?
Now, here's the thing, though.
No, Coco, you can't. Come on.
The Lusitania didn't drag America into World War I by itself.
No. So that's what a lot of people get misunderstood is, oh, well, the Lusitania, all these Americans died. That's why America got all pissed off and joined the war. No. Do you know what the Zimmerman telegram was?
No.
Basically, Germany sent a telegram to Mexico saying, hey, you should totally get involved in the war on our side and attack America to keep them busy. So that way we're not fighting war on two fronts here. Because the Germans knew at this point it was just a matter of time.
Before that, we got involved.
Yeah, after the Lusitania. Because America was pretty pissed at this point. We were pretty ready to join the war after the Lusitania went down.
That was the kick in the nuts right there.
The Zimmerman letter was kind of the, that's what kickstarted the giant machine that we now know as the United States Armed Forces.
Now, I've got a little conspiracy.
You mean the military-industrial complex?
Isn't it the same thing?
Yeah, that's why I said you mean the military-industrial complex.
Yeah.
Now, I've got a conspiracy for you guys, all right? It was really weird for Zimmerman because Room 40 intercepted that telegram, and then they delivered it, okay? Now, what's really weird is it would have been political suicide and absolutely blatantly stupid to accept that. In fact, when that letter was revealed, the smart thing for Zimmerman to have done would have been to go out and say, no, that is false. I never sent that. I would never do that. I would never try and betray America like that. This is a falsified letter and obviously a trap.
But he didn't deny it.
No, he openly accepted it. Now, I think that Krupp and Vickers worked together to coerce Zimmerman into accepting that letter because he was immediately removed from his position. Immediately. But, I think someone coerced him into accepting a lie because it just does not make sense to accept that letter and go, oh, yeah, well, oops, sorry, haha.
Well, this also plays a lot into, the corruption back then. The corruption wasn't just money. Back then, what a lot of people don't understand is a lot of the politicians, a lot of the big business people, they tried to keep their bloodlines. Bloodlines were serious back then. You were part of a royal lineage. And if you couldn't, how do you think they keep that royal lineage going?
Well, not only
Incest.
that. Well, here's another. Well, definitely incest.
A lot of retard. I'm sorry, I almost said a bad word.
He almost said retard.
God
Sorry.
bless it, Trippy.
I was trying to make it so we had to bleep something else out.
We ain't gotta bleep it out, dude. It's 2025. We're allowed to say it again.
Bullshit.
Have you
man.
seen the new South Park episode? We're allowed to say it again.
I fucking love the new South Park.
We're not as popular as South Park.
I fucking
No,
love South Park.
exactly. So who's gonna fucking report
I love
us?
the fact. I love
a lot of people.
I love
Fuck
the,
them. If they don't like what we're saying, then they're
Bro,
not who we're trying to reach out to.
I can't tell you how fucking obsessed with the fact that Trump is the fucking. It sounds like Saddam Hussein for back then.
Oh, yeah,
that
I've got
shit
that
cracks
too.
me the fuck up.
Dude, I thought somebody was trying to break in the front door, but it was your
I
chihuahua
thought it was a
running
kid
down
falling
the
down the
stairs.
stairs. I thought it was a kid falling down the stairs. I was getting ready to turn around and see.
Yeah, I can see him. Yeah, I just came down to see what you guys were doing.
Just like this.
He's just like, I'm okay.
He did that once, man. They were upstairs playing, and I was just sitting here on the couch chilling out. I was on here. Do. I turn and look, and he's sitting on the stairs. And he looks over and he's like, "Hi, Dad," and then runs back upstairs. He was fine. So all this bullshit of, I fell off my bike. I fucking scraped up my knee a little bit. Now I gotta sit here and cry. Bullshit, motherfucker. Bullshit. I'm on to you. It's because I watched you do it. Now you gotta think you gotta fucking cry. I know what you're doing.
Anyway, what I want to point out though is what I think back then, being gay was as much political suicide as being a pedo today is.
Yeah, because it was not accepted at all.
No, it wasn't.
So you get
There's still parts of the world today that they will kill you for being gay.
Yeah.
So you get someone that has some dark secrets on you or something like that, and they've got some leverage and they're saying, hey, this is going to come out. You're going to accept it, or this is going to hit the papers, along with this photo, which may or may not be real. Because I'll tell you what, they did have technology back in the day to alter photos.
Yeah, and back then, what you also need to think, a lot of people didn't know that shit. Cameras and shit were still very, very much
coming around.
Only the fucking wealthy elite could afford them. The government could afford them, and technically
Right,
the government didn't afford them.
and if
We
you take
paid for them.
You're not really seeing photos that often, other than handmade art and stuff like that. You're not really gonna be able. I don't know. Yeah, I guess. Yeah, that's one of them new photos. Why does it look like that? Oh, it's just the way the camera is. Yeah, I guess so.
You see how much better that worked?
You're doing good.
I need to find my spot. I wasn't comfortable like that.
Yeah, that's kind of why I've been just chilling like this.
Yeah, that's as soon as I turned it, it's a whole lot better now.
Yeah.
So yeah, back then, cameras, well, they were still fucking new. People didn't know any better.
Yeah,
and
like
today, America, I'm sorry, I love you guys, but we are a bunch of fucking redneck fucking dumbasses. We will believe anything that we see nowadays. You think that has changed? You think that has changed?
No, it hasn't. So, like I said, me personally, my own thoughts are, I think he was coerced somehow into accepting that letter. It just does not make sense. But that letter, that telegram, is what got America finally into World War I.
Yeah, it wasn't the Lusitania. Like everyone wants to say it is. Like, oh, the Lusitania is what pissed off America. No. What pissed off America was, hey.
A telegram got us into the World War I.
Well, Lusitania.
A telegram, in a way, kind of got the Titanic sank. Fucking telegrams, man.
Why do you think we got away from them?
Now, I know this is releasing on a sensitive day and everything else, and a day of tragedy. I do just want to say this. A torpedo doesn't blow a 45-degree angle hole in ships.
And take them down in less than 2 minutes.
No.
Because how long?
Torpedoes don't melt.
It was like less than 2 minutes. Hey, Siri.
I was gonna
Yeah,
say
torpedoes
the
don't
Lusitania
melt
sank.
steel beams.
Yeah, I was going to go along something with the lines of that, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Trippy, you know exactly
Oh,
what
you guys
day
are
this
making-
is.
you guys are
Yes,
talking
I
about-
do.
Faustino, that's a new one. I love this phone. This phone almost went flying earlier.
I think it was like
18 minutes. 18 minutes was fucking unheard of back then. The Titanic gouged a giant fucking hole in the side of it, filled up its watertight compartments, and sank in 2.5 hours.
Yeah, it should have taken at least an hour for the ship to sink, but it sank rapid.
It takes you like 10 minutes to set up the fucking divots for the fucking lifeboats.
Right. So, with all that being said, we're going to wrap this episode up. We hope you enjoyed the wild ride. Stay tuned for next time, where we start to cover over the elite bloodlines and their occult practices in World War I.
You guys all have a good time.
It's a trap!